Hey there. So this is going to be the sort of walk around explanation video for the 1976 Honda GL1000, the Goldwing. So I bought this bike in January, late January of 2020. I've been looking for, I don't know, about a year. I really liked the 1970s Hondas, and you know, Goldwings weren't getting a lot of love. Most of the love went to the Honda 750s, and then in the late 70s, 80s, the CBXs. So the Goldwings were a good price, and I mean, I always liked the look of them, the early ones. So I found this from a guy in San Diego who had it about, I think about 10 years. It could have been less. I didn't really ask. But the thing I liked about this bike was it was highly original. It hadn't been beat up, it hadn't been crashed, it didn't have a zillion miles on it. It had about 15,000 when I bought it, and that was honest miles. And as I walk around and show you, I think that, you know, everything on this bike is pretty much original. It wasn't cosmetically as nice as this, unfortunately. All of these bikes in that era had somebody put a windjammer on them, and like engine guards and all this kind of stuff, and they weren't always that careful. So this bike had some pretty deep gouging in the paint. You know, it had been ridden, but not rough ridden, and so you know, all that stuff went away, and then I, you know, basically went after mostly cosmetic improvements, along with refurbishing systems, and just doing basic maintenance. So let's take a look around. The bike, again, today has 21.7 on the mileage. And like I said, I bought it at about 15. I bought it because we were planning a long vintage ride around the West. And I ended up riding this thing from St. George, Utah up to about Seattle and then over to Montana and back. And it was flawless. The thing was perfect. Of course, the maintenance items, and starting at the front, let's see. Okay, so the wheels are all original, right? The rims. These are the beautiful DID aluminum wheels. And the spokes were not in great condition, and that's typical for these old Hondas. They didn't use like the German chrome. So I took the wheels and had them rebuilt. The hubs were vapor blasted, and then brand new chrome spokes. So they really came out nice, and you can see that rim is in beautiful condition. And I've tried to take photos of all of these things. The brake calipers, you know, again, all the original red dots. So this is all original. All of these parts, the fender, they've got brand new tires. Okay, those are brand new tires. Shinkos, they work really well for this type of bike. Let's see, what else? Original hand grips, all of this stuff. The switch gear, the brake levers. This clear on here is kind of yellowing, but those I believe are original. The mirrors, I think this left mirror is a repop, but the right mirror is original. Original brake caliper there with the red dot. Again, same lever. All of this is, you know, the handlebars, right? The switch gear. I have never seen really a nicer nacelle. This dashboard is in beautiful condition. Now, both the speedometer and the tach were rebuilt by Foreign Speedo. There was nothing broken in there, and this green paint on the faces is all original, as is the green paint on the fuel gauge. But these things get dried out, and eventually they start to howl, and they really howl. So there's a kind of a flywheel in there, or a gyro going faster than the speed, so it kind of keep them stable, and that stuff, when it gets dry, it starts to vibrate and howl. So anyway, they've all been rebuilt. All of this is original. Let's see, what else can I tell you? There's the fuel gauge. Let's turn the key on, and we'll see the fuel gauge come up. It should be relatively close to a full tank. and she's moving slowly. Okay. Anyway, you can see it moving there. I won't take too much time. Let's see. Original wires, original spark plug caps and boots, right? The coils are original, and you can tell whether or not they're functioning properly by doing a interference test, and they check out beautifully. Fuel pump, and this is Honda gas line with Honda clamps. And it's not the braided. What came with this bike was this rubber line covered by a black braiding. And but this is the proper Honda 5.5 line, and just without the braiding. And I don't like the braiding on this bike or my German bikes, because then you can't really see the condition, of the gas line underneath. But I'll have pictures of all that in the the auction. The frame has not been powder coated. Okay, this is all original. The frame, I did touch the frame up in a few places where they had clamped the fairing and the engine guards, but the rest of it is in beautiful condition. These tank panels, the tank panels, this is not a fuel tank, right? This is a neat thing that Honda did. The fuel tank's actually under the seat, and this side panel, which comes off with a quarter turn of this fastener, that just covers the side of the fuel tank. But this side is where you're going to get to the battery. You don't get to the battery by pulling the seat off. The seat comes off with 2 bolts. It's not that easy, but there's nothing under there to mess with. So if you want to get to the battery, you pull this cover off. And I took some pictures. I pulled the battery out to show you how nice it is under there and clean. All new battery cables, new battery in like October of 2020. So it's only 2.5 years old or whatever it is. 3 years old, something like that, I don't know. Okay, what else? Again, rubber gas line, fuel filter down in there, right? All of the carburetors got rebuilt, taken apart, cleaned, made sure all new O-rings, all new gaskets, and every single pilot, main jet, everything that was supposed to be there was there, and the right sizing and everything. So that was a good sign. And that's what I expected, because this bike had been ridden but not abused. There were some big gouges in the tank, and I had a very, very good friend who's a painter in Scottsdale, Arizona, Sonoran Customs. He usually does work on, these $1 million Ferraris and stuff. But he repainted these side panels and the tank panels, and man, it's perfect. And there's also these cool, radiator guards. So it's fabulous. And it looks, he matched it perfect. Let's take a look in here. So this was neat, right? It wasn't a fuel tank. It's a little glove box. And if we look in here, we see that there's the fuel filler, right? All of this is in really nice shape. All of the anodizing is nice. This is the original tool set, and I won't undo it here, but I'll take some photos of it. But the tools look brand new and it's complete, all right? It also came with a pristine Honda owner's manual from 1976, along with, right, the owner's card from the first owner, W.R. Picard, who bought it. He lived in Tularosa, New Mexico. And he bought it on the 4th of June, 1976. And he got a 6-month warranty. Anyway, it tells you the dealer, it tells you the frame number and everything. And then when we look in the owner's manual, let's see, go to the back. The early owner, the first owner, says he purchased it March 6th, 76 with 12 miles. And in May of 79, so about 3 years later, he had put almost 8,000 miles on it. And over here it shows almost 9,400 miles with no date. So we're assuming that he put somewhere around 10 or 11,000 miles on the bike before he sold it. And the guy I bought it from, he'd put several thousand miles on it with local use. But that's basically what I know. Okay. So side panels repainted, tank panels repainted, refurbished. There was no corrosion, no rust. The frame, again, has not been powder coated, but I did powder coat the side stand and the center stand, and I got new springs. Let's see, what else? So it's got new cam belts, right? There's 2 belts in here, and those are important to change, because if you don't and they break, like a Ducati, it's going to be a big problem. So anyway, those are changed. New fuel pump down here, okay? So new fuel pump, and of course oil filter and fresh oil. It's got a shaft rear drive, so that's got fresh oil. The radiator's in perfect condition. No flaws, no dents, no nothing. Geez, what else? What else can I tell you? The rear wheel's the same, right? Look at this. I mean, it's just beautiful condition, right? And there's that original DID sticker, and again, the new chrome spokes. And then that hub was completely vapor blasted, so it looks brand new. Brakes work great. Turn the key on. Let's see here. And horns working, turn signals, right, working, brake lights. Let's see, let's push the brake with my foot. Okay, let's take a brake with my hand. Okay, that's all good. Yeah, what else? Just a really, really, really nice. I have never seen one out on the road this nice. And I'm sure in some people's collections, maybe they're this nice, but this one is not only beautiful and nearly flaw-free, it also runs really good, doesn't drip, doesn't leak. And I took it on a 5,000 mile trip, and well, so could you. So anyway, we'll take a riding video and show you that it goes through all the gears. These early Gold Wings were kind of neat because, Honda didn't make this as a touring bike. This was still in their sort of sport bike realm at the time. It was only later that they changed the torque curve to be much lower and then hung, fairings and bags on them. So if you ride around under $6,000, this thing's super docile. And it's real cream puff. But you get over $6,000, it really starts to go, and you can tell that sport bike DNA is in there. There's that original rear fender, the fender sticker, okay, the rear dot on the rear caliper there. So anyway, really nice bike. Thanks for looking, and if you got any questions, just let me know.